Your interview process can make or break your ability to determine the right candidate for a job. For example, imagine trying to choose a senior software engineer based on a single phone interview. Or imagine if you selected a customer support candidate without listening to their phone demeanor. It's important to choose the appropriate type of interview for the industry, your company, and the job. So let's explore your options. Here are 7 different types of interviews you can choose from, as well as some pros and cons of each approach. First, let's talk about the phone interview. A phone interview is often used early in the interview process because it's the fastest, cheapest, and most efficient option. While a phone interview requires the least amount of effort from you and the candidate, it doesn't allow you to read a candidate's body language. Next is the video interview. A video interview uses video conferencing software like Skype, Zoom, or Google Hangouts, which allows you to see a candidate without actually meeting in person. On the plus side, video calls blend the efficiency of a phone interview with the rapport building of an in-person interview. On the negative side, they are often prone to interruptions from a bad signal. Also, you still can't entirely read a candidate's body language. Third is the in-person interview. Candidates are asked to come to the workspace and interview individually. An in-person interview is the best way to get a true sense of a candidate's personality, interpersonal skills, and corporate culture fit. You have the added benefit of being able to read the candidate's body language, too. However, this type of interview demands the most effort and time. That's why it's best to reserve in-person interviews for assessing top candidates who are in the middle to final rounds of selection. Let's move on to the panel interview. A panel interview describes when multiple people interview a candidate at the same time. For example, the manager and team members of the position may participate in a single interview. A panel interview can be conducted over a phone or video conference call or in person. A benefit of a panel interview is that it considers multiple perspectives in the hiring decision, which can help to counteract interviewer bias. However, the interview panel may be prone to groupthink or experience disagreement between panel members. Fifth, we'll introduce the group interview. A group interview brings together multiple candidates to be interviewed at the same time, typically in person. Group interviews are most nerve-wracking for job candidates. However, they are a quick way to screen candidates or to see how candidates interact with others and respond to pressure. Next, the meal or drinks interview is just as it sounds. It's an in-person interview that's conducted over lunch, dinner, coffee, or even cocktails. This type of interview feels more conversational and encourages more honest responses from candidates. However, the conversational approach may also make it difficult to stick to a structured interview, leaving greater risk for interviewer bias and overlooked questions. The final type of interview is the capability test. A capability test describes when you give a candidate an exercise, assessment, or assignment that closely mirrors the day-to-day work of the position. For example, you might ask a candidate to write a sample blog post, take a live coding test, or even work with you for a day. The biggest advantage of the capability test is that it's based on objective performance. You get to see the candidate's skills in action. However, you should keep in mind that the constraints or lack of constraints on the assessment may not mirror real life. As you review these 7 types of interviews, you may wonder which one is best. The answer is that it depends. All interview types have their pros and cons. Consider your options, along with the unique demands of your company and the open position, to make the most informed and appropriate decision.